Is Apple working on a MacBook SE? Or are you thinking about a new MacBook? Well, this video might just save you a lot of money unless you're a pro user. Apple released its scary fast M3 MacBook Air this year, which adds another great MacBook to its lineup. And you can watch my full review for more details. But just like it's done in the past with the iPhone SE and the Watch SE, it's now rumored to plan to be thinking about launching a cheaper MacBook this year as well. In this video, I'll tell you all about the expected features, the price, the timing, and what you can expect and when you can expect it. So let's get started. So what are the various news articles about this saying? They're saying that this MacBook SE is likely to be a 12-inch MacBook, similar to the one they released in 2015 called the MacBook. No, I didn't make a mistake. It wasn't the MacBook Pro, the MacBook Air, the MacBook Fair, or the MacBook Bear, just MacBook. Despite the name, MacBook was pretty great for its time. It was super thin, even thinner than the M1 MacBook Air. But it had its flaws and its poor chip performance with Intel, which was slow, it got hot, it was underpowered, and probably led to the development of Apple silicon that powers the MacBooks today. Oh, and it had one of the most hated features ever released on a MacBook, the butterfly keyboard, which was super unreliable and very unsatisfying to work on, and people just hated it. But Apple took its time, but eventually they had to get rid of that keyboard with terrible user reviews, and hopefully it won't come back on the MacBook SE. So if they take that MacBook and add in the new M series chip and price it low, will it be good? Well, I think it could be. The Retina display on the MacBook was already pretty good for the 12-inch size. The bezels were bigger but not too big, and hopefully Apple can make them a bit smaller to feel more modern when they release the SE. I mean, it's 2024. I gotta stare at black bands on the side of a screen? No thank you. Now, I wouldn't expect to see features like a notch or ProMotion in the SE model. Let's just hope they improve the FaceTime camera, which was okay at best on that model, and continued to be just about okay all the way till the M2 MacBook Air when they finally improved it to a full HD camera. Now, what chip do we expect to see? Typically, you might think it's last year's chip, the M2, but honestly, if I was Apple, I would just go with the M1, which is still blazing fast and honestly more than enough for what most people have going on. Especially given that Apple just discontinued the M1 MacBook Air, I think it's very possible they use that chip. And in fact, the M1 MacBook Air is still very popular and honestly a great deal to buy even in 2024. And if you want to know why, go and watch the full video on my channel. Now back to this, on the size of this prospective MacBook SE, well, there's some rumors about it being either 12 inches or 13 inches, which would make sense to me given that they'll either use the MacBook from 2015 or the MacBook Air M1, which they just discontinued, as the chassis for this model. Honestly, to me, using the M1 chassis makes a lot more sense since it has a bigger battery, more ports, and a more iconic wedge design. And finally, what's the price going to be? It's rumored to start at $699 or pounds or euros, which is pretty attractive and 30 to 40% cheaper than the entry-level latest M3 MacBook Air. But guess which laptop is still being sold for $699? Yep, it's the M1 MacBook Air. To me, this is already a great MacBook Air SE. If you're looking for a great MacBook for a steal right now, I think you don't even have to wait for the SE. Go for the M1 MacBook Air while stock lasts. And if you need some convincing, watch my full review and how to get it cheap right here.